Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy The Hero. Today, we're diving into the biggest shakeup in Modern we've seen in a while. That's right guys, Wizard of the Coast has dropped the banhammer on two of the format's most impactful cards, Nadu Wing Wisdom and Grief. Whether you're relieved or frustrated, these bans are going to change the landscape of Modern in some major ways. So what does this mean for your favorite decks? Stick around and let's break it down. This video is powered by Dubby. Dubby Energy is the maker of a clean gamer energy drink to enhance focus, concentration, and reaction time with no jitters, crash, or bad ingredients. Head over to dubby.gg and use the code THEHEROES to get that 10% discount. Alright, so first up, let's talk about Nadu. We all saw this coming. Nadu was just too powerful, dominating the format with consistent turn 3 kills and a toolbox that could combat any hate thrown its way, right? So honestly, I'd argue that Nadu was the best modern deck we've ever seen, though that's a debate for another day. With Nadu gone, the meta is going to open up in ways we haven't seen in a long time. But what about Grief? Now that was a surprise. Sure, it was on the radar, but it wasn't seeing nearly as much play since Modern Horizons 3 hit the scene. The ban seems to have come from a standpoint of the card being unfun rather than being overpowered. I mean, who really enjoys getting double Grief on turn 1? But is that any worse than losing to a combo deck on turn 3? The debate rages on, but the damage is done, so let's take a look ahead. Alright, so let's start with the big loser, Nadu, or rather the lack of losers. Nadu doesn't have any real bad matchups, so there's no specific architect that's going to drop off the map because of this ban. Some might argue that Living End falls into this category, but without Grief, that deck is on thin ice anyway. The real winners though, they're easy to spot. We've got three main groups. Think Tron and Eldrazi Ramp. These decks often struggle against Nadu's quick combo, but now they got a shot to shine. With Nadu out of the way, they can go over the top of most strategies without getting blown out by turn 3. Number 2, we got creature combo decks. Decks like Amulet, Yawgmoth, Soul Trader just got a lot better. They're not suddenly tier 1, but they're likely to move up from the fringes of the meta to solid tier 2 contenders. Number 3, hard control decks. With Nadu gone, decks like UR Wizards or Necrodominance and focus on a more homogeneous metagame. If energy became the next big thing, it'll be easier for control decks to adapt and thrive. So at first glance, the Grief ban might seem like it would have a bigger impact, but in reality, I don't think it's gotten to shake things up as much as we might expect, right? Sure, it hits tier 3 decks, Goryo, Necrodominance, and Living End, but I wouldn't count these decks out just yet. So Goryo and Necrodominance weren't relying on Grief as much as people think, so they might just need a little tweaking to stay competitive. Living End, on the other hand, might have a rougher time without Grief. It's vulnerable to counter magic, and that could push it down more of a niche exploit deck rather than a solid tier 2 contender. Who knows? So, what can we expect the modern metagame to look like now? Well, here's my take. This is just my opinion. I just take a quick look. So, let's go. So, number 1, energy. This deck was doing well even with Nadu in the mix, but it's likely to stay at the top with its fast cloak and flexible game plan. Energy is here to stay. Number 2, Storm. It's not the premier turn 3 combo deck in Modern, but with Nadu gone, people might start packing more hate for it. It'll stay strong, but not as dominant as it could be. Number 3, we got Goryo. It's in a bit of weird spot. Losing Grief hurts, but the core of the deck is still intact. It might evolve into a more mid-range build, but it'll remain a force in the format. Of course, number 4, I would say Eldrazi decks. Whether it's Tron, Through the Breach, or non-Tron Ramp, these decks are in a better position now. They struggle against Nadu, but without it, they've got a better shot. And then we got Jeskai Control and Necrodominance. These decks could hold steady. They always had good and bad matches, but with less strategy to worry about, and control might be more appealing. Next up, we got UB Murktide. This deck's one of the secret winners here. Psychic Frog's a powerhouse, and without Nadu around, UB Murktide has all the tools it needs to dominate the meta. And there it is, guys. The rest of the metagame, decks like Amizu, Prowess, Your Control, and more. They all have more room to breathe now, and we might see some shakeups in what has been a pretty stale Modern format lately. Right, guys, so there you have it. The bans of Nadu and Grief are going to open up a whole lot of possibilities in Modern. I'm excited to see how the meta evolves. What do you guys think? Are these bans going to help the format, or are they just going to start off with more problems down the road? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any of the future content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.